Hello guys, and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to do an overview of something I've recently bought. So basically I bought something quite special really. It's a Sigma 500mm prime F4.5 DG HSM lens, and it's quite an impressive lens, to be sure. So I hope this video is a little bit informative for those of you guys who cannot afford the Canon 500mm f4 lens, because it's expensive. Even second-hand, a cheap second-hand version of it will set you back £3,500, and that's the Mark 1 version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the lens. I'll do some more videos on the actual lens so you get a proper look of it. This is just a bit of a webcam video just to show you what it looks like, how good it is, what it does, that sort of thing. Right everyone, here you can see a recent lens I purchased. I'll tell you the story and hopefully it'll give you inspiration to possibly look for something on the second-hand market and try and obtain something like this. So what do we have here? Well, it's a 500mm f4.5 prime lens. HSM, its minimum focus is 4 meters to infinity obviously. It has two modes for its focusing limiter, which is 8 meters to infinity and 4 to 8 meters. Basically it has a drop-in filter which is 46mm. So what that means is you can basically get filters and put them in there, and it should be quite cheap in order to purchase those filters, because the front element is going to be way too large for any sort of conventional filter. Obviously you have a decent lens hood. Let's see if we can take that off for you. It's very much like the sport lens hood. It's a little bit shorter, however it's basically solid metal, if you can hear that, with a bit of rubber at the front, and obviously an attachment there for tightening it when you've got it on the lens. Inside it's basically got felt to basically prevent ghosting and that sort of thing, and flaring. Basically most expensive lens hoods will have felt in them to try and reduce any sort of ghosting or flaring. Obviously it has a really decent tripod mount. You can't remove it, but I am a really big fan of the Sigma mounts in terms of the tripod collars, because they put grooves in there so it makes it comfortable to carry. In terms of quality, I've yet to review it, so I'll give you a further update. There's not a lot of people on YouTube actually doing, or have done for that matter, a proper review of this particular lens. Now there are some older versions out there, but let me tell you my story about how I bought this. I saw it on Adorama's website, well on eBay actually, on their shop, and it was going for $2,200. So I thought I'll make an offer, because you never know. So I offered $1,000 and they accepted my offer, believe it or not. However, that wasn't the end of the story, because obviously this was ebay.com, and obviously I live in the UK, so it obviously took a lot of, and it was quite expensive to get this to me. I think the UPS shipping itself was something in the region of £130 to get it from USA to the UK. And then I had an expensive £274 import duty to pay. But in all, this lens probably set me back just short of £1,500, which is the going rate for this sort of lens off some of the more local websites. Although there is a lot of people on eBay who are selling this for ridiculous amounts of money. I've seen them selling for around 2 to 3 grand basically. Anyway, the long story cut short is when it arrived, it seemed to be fine on most of my cameras, except for my 1D Mark III camera. I was getting the error message, the dreaded error message that everyone doesn't want on their lens, asking me to clean the contacts. Now, what that generally means is the contacts on the rear of the lens, and I'll show you that. We just take the camera off and this teleconverter. If I just switch the lens round, I don't know if you can see that there, but the contacts there, which are gold plated, had basically worn away a little bit. And that was the reason for that error message. So I contacted Adorama, and they wanted me to return the lens back to them, you know, so they could probably more than likely refund me. However, I realised that this lens is in really good condition, apart from the rear part of the lens. So I contacted Sigma UK, and they said, sure, we can repair it for you. And I think the repair bill was £229. So I contacted Adorama and I said, listen, it's going to cost a lot of money for you to get it returned, because obviously the return shipping alone is going to be probably £130, £150. And they said to me, because obviously they did contact Sigma USA, and they did say it would probably need repairing. So they were looking at possibly spending a lot of money getting the lens repaired after it got returned back to them. So I said to them, well, what if I can get the lens repaired by Sigma UK? And they said, well, yeah, sure, we'll consider, you know, reimbursing you if that's the case. So I took the lens back to Sigma UK. Basically it cost about £15 to get it to them, and sure enough they basically replaced the rear contact block, and now this lens is fully functional. So after speaking to Adorama and sending them a copy of the invoice for the repair after Sigma UK repaired the lens, Adorama refunded me £229. So that was really good of them to do that. So all I can really do is say thank you for Adorama for going the extra mile, because there's many sellers on eBay who, once they've sent it to you, couldn't give a damn about what happens to it or whether it works, basically. And they'll try and fob you off. There's many sellers that would have done that. So kudos to Adorama. I believe B&H are also as good as Adorama is, but it goes to show that if you purchase a lens from a recognised camera seller, they will do their best to help you out and get the lens repaired, fixed, refund you, whatever. Because they want you to go away happy with your purchase. So I'm really happy with this lens. Basically, I've been wanting a 500mm prime for a long time, but I couldn't afford it, because obviously a lot of you guys know how much the Canon F4 lens is. The downside to this lens is it doesn't have image stabilization. However, I don't think it's going to be a major issue, for fast shutter speeds. Now I should be able to achieve some really good fast shutter speeds at f4.5 on a sunny day. Even when it sort of gets a bit dark, pop it on a monopod or a tripod and I'll still be able to get some good results, and that's the reason why I bought this lens really. Obviously I've got the Sigma Contemporary 150-600 lens, and that's a stellar lens, don't get me wrong, but with a small aperture of f6.3 it means it doesn't let a lot of light in. So hopefully this lens should be fantastic for birding, wildlife, sports, aircraft, photography basically. So keep your options open, you know, look at other alternatives. There are other alternatives out there. I hope to give you a full proper review of this lens when I have the time, and I promise to do that. And hopefully this video was a little bit informative about the lens, and I hope you enjoyed my little story. From what I gather, it's very sharp at f8, and between f4.5 and 5.6 it might be a little bit softer than the Canon f4 lens. However, the price is significantly less. You know, basically this is half the price of what a Canon would cost, even second hand. And you can pick these up brand new. Obviously Sigma have just brought out a brand new 500 OS f4 lens, but it's selling between £5,000 and £6,000, which is a lot of money, and it's out of the budget of most people. An alternative to this, as well as the 100-400 Mark II, incidentally, if you are interested in the 100-400 Mark II lens, it's actually recently gone up in price by £200. You see, I bought a grey import version of that lens for £1,200, and I've noticed on Amazon it's actually selling for £1,700 for a UK version of that lens. It's a big price difference, that. So don't be afraid of buying grey imports, just be mindful that the warranty will not be covered in your region. Another lens to consider is the 70-200 with some sort of teleconverter. But yeah, I just wanted to do a little bit of an overview of my new lens. Obviously it's not new, it's second hand, but the main features of the lens I've already stated, but I'll go through it again. Is you've got autofocus and manual, and you've got full-time manual override. It's a HSM lens, it's DG, it's 8 meters to infinity on the actual focus limiter, and it also has the option of 4 to 8 meters. And that's the lens really. Obviously it does have this drop-in filter, 46mm size, so obviously you can put polarizers in there, ND filters, you know, if you want to slow down anything that you want to take a picture of to create motion blur, that sort of thing. But it's a fantastic build quality. It's all metal construction, literally, so it actually weighs the same. If you're interested, the actual lens weighs precisely more or less the same weight as the Sigma Sport 150-600 DG 6.3 lens, but obviously the front element of this is quite a lot bigger. Now I haven't measured it, but I will do a future video so you guys can find out more about this lens, because no one's done a video on this lens, and I think it would be a good idea to do one, because there must be a few people out there interested in a 500 prime but can't afford the Canon, and the new Sigma one's a bit out of their price range. So thank you for watching and have a nice day.